So I've been wanting to do this for quite a while. I've seen other people make a sort of remix breakdown video where they kind of explain how everything in their song works or why everything sounds the way it does. So I guess I can start with how I started with this idea. Well, I was trying to make a Ghost Fight remix because I love the song to death, and I had a couple of scrapped versions before, as you saw in my old Undertale attempts video. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to do something different to stand out. So I looked into a genre called electro swing. I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure someone told me about it, and I was like, I was a little intrigued, and I wanted to go on YouTube, look at a few, or listen to a few songs, and try to understand what separates this genre from the rest, so I can try to make my own. So I listened to it, and I realized, from what I can tell, I'm sure a lot of people will cut my head off because they're very anal about genres, but from what I could tell, or what I can hear, electro swing is pretty much just kind of like a mix of modern and, you know, modern music, as in post-2000, and music from like the 20s, I guess. Fuck it. How else do you explain it? It's like a mashup of both. Best of both worlds kind of thing. So I wanted to make my own. Holy shit, I'm gonna sneeze. I hate it when that happens. It's like coming and going. Excuse me. Alright. As I was saying. Shit, I lost my train of thought. Right, I wanted to make my own sort of version of electro swing, because I personally felt that there wasn't enough electro to balance out with the swing, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, it was more swing than electro. I mean, I really don't know how else to explain it because I'm pretty bad with words. But that explains why I made this little synth here. I believe it's this pattern. That's not the pattern. Actually, it probably is. Hold on. Yeah. That was kind of like a plucky bass that I wanted to just... I honestly have no idea why I used it, or why I made it for this specific remix, but I guess it seemed to work. So, one thing I'd like to point out before I start playing the music is the fact that I had to use a substitute saxophone, because this one decided not to work on me right before I started the video. So it's going to sound a little different. I'm going to play a little bit of it so you can have a feel of what it sounds like. Okay, I probably should have given you a warning. I'm really sorry about that. Anyway, oops. So I guess to start off, let's start off with this instrument here. I did some research and found out that this little part here was actually an instrument used in the Earthbound sound font, which was a sampled... It was like a sampled song. Just listen to it. Alright, let's... You hear it, right? I mean, I can't really make out what kind of, what instruments are used in there, and I wouldn't want to guess to make an ass out of myself. But this is definitely a song. I don't know which song it is, but it's a sampled song. I could have easily just, you know, went to the soundtrack and sampled the music used in Undertale, but for some reason I decided to go the extra mile and recreate it by ear. I don't know why I did that, but whatever. So there's that part here. Okay. So this little thing here is... Let me play this whole pattern actually. Oh shit. Well, I remember using something called DSK Bass, which is a free plugin. In fact, you should probably head over to DSK's website because you can find a lot of free plugins that are pretty decent. So I went there and I tried to play around with the bass plugin, and it wasn't the sound that I wanted. So a friend of mine decided to give me a bunch of samples which are basically just basses. They're just bass samples. And I was like, I kind of wonder how that would work, because I understand using drum samples, but, you know, a sample of a recording of an instrument, I didn't think that would work too well. But it sounded pretty good, so I was like, okay, I'll use this. Alright, so let's continue. I probably should lower the volume of the saxophone, because it's probably raping your ears. So I'll lower that down a bit. Okay, so with the saxophone that I used, it was from Edirol, and I put a lot of effects on it. I EQ'd it in a certain way where I put the highs, you know, I kind of boosted the highs a bit to kind of give it that, how do I explain it? So it could sound a little bit clearer. Because it sounded a bit muffled, and I thought raising the highs would actually make it sound more clear, which I would say that it did. And I also sidechain it so that every time the kick drum hits, it would lower the volume of the saxophone. It would kind of... I'm not sure why I did it. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I did it because it sounded cool. That's all. And I used a stereo enhancer, which basically takes the sound and stretches it over the... I'm not good with words. Alright. It's better to show you what it does by turning it off and then turning it on again. Here we go. See, a lot of the things I can't really explain because I have no formal learning of it at all. It's basically just a hobby where I'm kind of like, I know what this knob does, so I'm going to use it. So I apologize if my terminology is really bad. Alright, so here, I actually used an almond break in an electro swing song. I don't know why, but I did. So this was the almond break. Now the song is syncopated, which means some of the beats are a little offset to kind of give it a ragtime feel. Again, I'm bad with terminology. But I actually chopped it up just a bit so it could syncopate. So I could syncopate that drum beat as well, and it would fit better with the song. Now, I guess I can explain better by just having the regular sample play, and then you can hear that it's just a bit offbeat. Maybe if I... If you understand what I'm saying here. And now if I play the, you know, syncopated version, you can understand that it fits a lot better. Okay, so going into this part. This little thing right here is called a growl. Some people called it a robotic burp or a fart or whatever the fuck. I mean, hey, whatever you want to call it whatever, you know, call it what you like. But this is actually called a growl. Now, because it kind of sounds like growling, of course. So the way I made this was, I looked at a video done by Seamless, who has a lot of great tutorials. He makes tutorials, about, you know, how to make basses, how to mix and master, and all that stuff, and I really recommend you checking some of them out, because you can learn a lot from one of those videos. Yeah, I didn't even have to watch the whole video, and I learned enough to actually make the bass. So that's what this is. Now, how this bass works is that you would, let's go right here, to the main. Alright, I apologize for that, let me just... That's how it works. The X modulator does a lot here. It's really cool how it works, but you can make some very interesting sounds by fucking around with that little knob there, but you have to set it up in a way, like program it to actually control something, because if you just opened up Citrus and fuck around with that knob, it won't really do anything. So, yeah. Alright, so what's next? What the fuck did I do to the poor thing? Oh my god. Did you hear that? Oh, right. There we go. Okay. Oh, another thing I'd like to explain. This right here. You may be wondering, why the hell would you put white noise or static in a song? That's why. It's used a lot in many electronic genres, mostly house, from what I remember. And it's used in a lot of creative ways. It can be used as like a sweep, where, you know, it would make a sound similar to like or something like that. I apologize, I'm really bad with words, so I'm gonna have to use sounds to actually explain things. So that's what that's used for. Or like, you know, for build-ups, or also called rises, where it goes like, you know, when the beat's about to drop and it kind of just goes up like, that's what white noise is used for. So there's that. And also, I did find this little piano, which is used which kind of gave it, I mean, what it reminds me of is Red Dead Redemption, you know, that game that took place in the 1910s, you know, riding cowboy kind of shit. And I thought it would fit pretty well into this mix here. You get the idea. Alright, what's this pattern? Oh, right. I called this a block kick because, well, side chaining is basically when an instrument affects the volume of another. I guess that's the way I'm going to explain it to make it sound simple. So it's generally called a ghost kick. And Naps the Blook is a ghost. Ta-da! Alright, anyway. That saxophone is fucking ear rapey. This is just an original melody here. Nothing special. Alright, so this little part right here, where it would pitch down the whole song by using this knob here, I don't know why I did that when I could have just easily done this. It would have done the same thing, but for some reason I decided to pitch down the whole freaking song just for that one little note. I don't know. I think in mysterious ways. Also, this little scratching sound effect, I really like it. So I used it a lot. So that goes on for quite a bit. Main melody, and then here comes the rise. Okay, so let me explain a little something here. This rise was supposed to lead to a drop that actually had, you know, growls and everything, but I opted out of it. This is how it was supposed to originally sound like. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Anyway, that's what it was supposed to sound like. But then I realized not a lot of people would like that. You know, I personally prefer, you know, grittier songs like this. I would have really liked to have this in there, but I kind of took under consideration a lot of other people's tastes, I guess. How do I really explain this? So instead, I kind of just said fuck this part and just added this saxophone. Ow. Fuck. You get the idea. So it was just a little saxophone solo instead, because, yeah, I already said my reason 1,000 times. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about this. See, the reason why this drum beat kind of went a little nuts here was because a little later after I posted this, I wanted to change up... I'm sorry. I kind of hit my mic a bit. I wanted to change up the drum beat just a bit, because I wanted to try to submit it to OCR, which is overclocked remix. It has like very high standards, and it's basically remixing at a professional level. And I wanted to try to submit this and see if it would get in. And one of the biggest issues that this track has is autopilot drums, where you would use the same drum beat throughout the entire song and not change it at all. That's a sign of laziness. In most cases. Some cases, it's a good idea. But that's OCR standards, and if I want to submit my song, I would have to go by their standards. So this is what I did. I never used it, but this is the outcome. You get the idea. So there's that. So this is pretty much plays the main melody, and then it kind of just goes to an outro. And I guess that's pretty much the breakdown of the entire song. I mean, I don't really know what else I can explain. I pretty much explained everything from what I remember. What's this here? Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. So, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully, if you want me to do more of these, just let me know, because I actually had quite a bit of fun explaining how this song works and everything. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.